morning, everyone. Welcome back to the 505 Sports Venture Foundation program. We're coming to you from downtown Albuquerque, high above beautiful Central Avenue. I've got my producer, Adrian, behind the glass. Up the stairs in the president's chair, Steve Davis, our host. We always want to thank ProView for giving us this great opportunity to talk about New Mexico athletics, NIL, and what's going on with your Lobos. Before I have a very special guest, and got a lot to talk about. It seems like the Lobos in the tournament is old news. We've moved on. We've got Portal. We've got Rich Pitino questions, et cetera, et cetera. And it all leads me to this, guys. I'm going to continue to ask you to help. We need support. We need to retain. That's what we're doing. We're retaining our student athletes, and we're making New Mexico a real great destination for the students. And also, it comes into light when we're talking about a coach leaving. What better enticement for a new coach, if that's what we were going to look at, and I have news about that. What better enticement for a coach other than his salary is what his NIL budget is. What players can we attract? What does it look like on the national picture? How do we rebuild the program? Well, I think fortunately I'm going to cheat a little bit. We're not going to have to rebuild the program according to what's happening today. But I need your help. We all, at 505, we need your help. So it's 505sports.org. 505sports.org. Check it out. We have room to donate from $10, $20 a month club, national production team we have that can help your business. We need your help, and it's time. We've seen how successful we are at UNM. We want to keep that going, and again, it's a community effort. So we're going to come right back. We're going to take a short break, and we've got a special guest, and we've got a couple of minutes to talk about hours worth of stuff. So hang out. We'll be right back. We're here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I couldn't remember it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We're here in the ProView studios. We've got a special guest, familiar to everyone, good buddy Jeff Grammer from the Albuquerque Journal. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm okay. A lot going on, Lobo land. But we were going to talk chronologically because it seems like ages ago the Lobos were in the tournament. We were talking seeding and all that. We'll get to that. But there's some news today or this morning.
Yeah, so in the last couple days, Richard Pitino has talked with Louisville about their head coaching vacancy. Pitino obviously had coached there when they were riding high. While he did leave for Florida for a year or two there and worked with Billy Donovan, he was there during their national title run, basically before and right after. Associate head coach to his father, Rick Pitino. This was back when they were in the Big East, and they were riding high. He also spent 14 or 15 years there. So he knows Louisville well, and they're looking for a coach. He has had conversations with them, 2 conversations actually in the last couple days. But what is now official and on the record and public and everything's out there today, he is not taking the Louisville job. There was not a Louisville job offered, though it is fair to say they had extensive conversations. They had 2 conversations. One was sort of the introductory sort of, should we pursue this? The other one was more of I wouldn't say an interview, but a more detailed conversation. They had very high interest in Richard, and Richard is not, at this point, going to be taking the job. I think there are some reports out there that they might be closing in on a coach, but nothing's official for Louisville yet, other than Richard Pitino is not right now going to be pursuing the Louisville job.
Yes, I can kind of second that announcement. We at 505 SVF are working very closely with Coach Pitino and his staff, primarily on retainment. We are retaining a very solid roster. We've got young players. We've got some veterans who are coming back. But there's this thing called the portal.
Yeah.
And the portal closes April 30th.
And while the portal, the NCAA transfer portal as we know it, and we use that term, applies to players and is still a relatively new thing and something that a lot of fans and coaches and people around college basketball still aren't entirely comfortable or, I guess, just aware of in some ways. The transfer portal has actually been around for a long time for coaches. So the coaching turnover has been a part of it for a long time. The players doing it now is new, relatively new, and they can do it so with such player freedom, which is a good thing in my mind. The players have some rights and some freedom. They can do that now, but it does make this time of year pretty crucial for people like you and organizations like yours, because this is the time that it's not just about recruiting. The other R in the equation is the retention, and that's as big as anything, especially for a program like UNM right now.
Yeah, well, I have to say that if you're a college basketball fan, that UNM, despite dipping into the portal and doing quite well in the portal, Pitino and crew have followed a very traditional route. We see two top-notch freshmen coming in. And the idea was always, you might lose a kid to an injury or a transfer, but the idea is to replenish. Don't be too top-heavy at seniors, juniors. Have kids going up the line. And we've done that. I can say with a strong degree of certainty that a couple of kids, Braden Applehans and Q Webb, will be back with us next year. There were questions. Q didn't play that much. Braden had his issues, which were well known publicly. They are looking forward to being back. You've got the two young freshmen coming in who have said Katie Dotson and Jovan Milicevic. And they said they were great in Texas and prep school in Arizona, respectively. They will contribute. They will contribute from the get-go. So on the back end, we've got the fifth-year guys coming back. We've got Nelly and Mustafa Amzel. Mm-hmm. And I can say, again, the portal isn't closed till May. Graduate students can transfer at any time.
Yes.
There's no portal for them. I can say with a strong degree of certainty we will see Nelly and Mustafa Amzel back. So the question then goes to the three freshmen, or the two freshmen.
The three underclassmen.
Three underclassmen. So, Dent, Amzel, Toppin, and True.
I would say this, that to what you opened with there about the replenishing and getting the freshmen, there's a lot of programs that in the last 2 years have not done the balance of targeting the transfers while also getting some freshmen, and the ones that haven't hit like UNM has. UNM has hit on Donovan Dent. UNM, and they recruited him out of high school. UNM has certainly hit on JT Toppin and True Washington. True Washington certainly wasn't as not the accolades that JT Toppin got, but that was a good freshman season that True Washington just had for a Division I college basketball player. And I would say that keeping those three would pretty much put UNM in contention for one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the Mountain West next year, right off the bat, if not the preseason favorite. And whether or not you and UNM can help keep them, I know everybody has their assumptions on all that. What I will say, I won't speak for you here because you can speak for yourself on this. Around the Mountain West, 505 Sports Ventures, like you guys really are as good as or better than anybody in the Mountain West, and that really extends to out west, not just the Mountain West, but out west. There are some Pac-12 schools that would like to have what you guys have going.
Yeah, well, we're getting the community support, and in light of the recent trip to the NCAA, the week in Vegas, people are really getting on board. They were cautious, and again, one of the things we do on a regular basis is education. It's still a process. What does this mean? What does it mean? So right now, again, April 30th is a long way away.
Yeah.
the 3 underclassmen. We're having regular talks with all of them, their families. JT Toppin is represented by an agent who has experience in the NBA. They're looking at an NBA future for him. But I think if you watched, you saw what happened against the bigger team in Clemson. Sure. JT Toppin is not an NBA player today.
No.
And he's a young man. He's 18 years old. So we are thinking that we're in good position again, and we're working on it. But the transfer portal is the transfer portal, yep. And the coaching carousel is the coaching carousel. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back and talk with Jeff about Lobos in the tournament. Stay with us, please.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, tanked, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Wide. Hey everybody, it's Kurt Roth. I'm here with Jeff Grammer. We're talking Lobo Athletics. We've so far touched on the coaching carousel, the transfer portal. Now, it seems like ages ago we were talking NCAA tournament seedings, competition. All right, it was short and sweet. It was fun. It was exciting. But they got handled by Clemson.
They did, and I think that what Lobo fans and maybe Mountain West fans look at is, oh man, here we go again, because the Mountain West didn't do good on the Thursday and Friday overall. The bigger picture about the Mountain West this year, they got the 6 teams in. They did pick up 4 wins. It's a record for unit shares. I think the national narrative isn't probably as doomsday as maybe some Lobo and some Mountain West fans think about what happened in the first round of the tournament. The Mountain West, I think, could have done a lot better, clearly. But I think everyone understands they were underseeded. The teams that were seeded probably appropriately got to win. Utah State, as an 8 seed, got to win. San Diego State as a 5 seed in the Sweet 16. So I do think that the national narrative isn't going to be one that's remembered as the Mountain West did poorly this year. I think the Mountain West did fine this year, has more wins than the SEC.
Yeah, I agree with that. And especially one game away, I don't know what Nevada did. And if Nevada beat State, and they were clearly a better team than Dayton, in my opinion. They just went into the prevent offense, and it just didn't work. But that aside, Personally, I was disappointed. I was
Sure.
disappointed. Lobos went down 19-7, and I said, "Oh boy, we're not physical enough. We're not fast enough. We're a little outsized at almost every position." But we didn't make shots. Lobos make shots. It's a whole different game.
Yeah, I think that in the build-up to that game, when they started describing, Donnie's asked the day before the game, who does this team remind you of that you've played? And they say Boise State. Well, everyone's thinking, oh man, they just beat Boise State in the tournament last week. Well, let's remember, for 3 years, Boise State has had an advantage over the Lobos because they're taller at every position. They're big. They pack it inside. They create problems for the Lobos. Clemson clearly did the same in a much better way, frankly, than what Boise State ever did. And it was apparent you need some outside shooters to knock down some shots, and the Lobos just didn't have that.
Hey, Jamal Mashburn, love the kid.
Yeah.
We know he's got into the portal. I do not expect Jamal Mashburn to play college basketball next year. I think he's going to the portal because it makes sense. You go and see what there is. He made his first jumper in the lane, missed his next 10.
Yes.
I mean, and he had good shots. So, and then contrary to that, the big kid, the center, hits a bunch of threes. Gerard, who's stuck to the ground, hits a couple of threes.
Yep.
Next game, they win, but they don't make those threes. So I think, and I'm guilty of it also, you can't overemphasize the one game. You can't say, well, the Lobos aren't geared up for the NCAA tournament. They're not big enough. I don't think that's necessarily true. And the key to the NCAA tournament is getting in years and years and years in a row.
Yes.
Because, hey, Virginia looked terrible against Colorado State. They won a national championship. They're in the thing, and they haven't won a game since the national championship. So it's tough. It's a really great competition. And I get a sense, you probably do too, from social media, which was nasty for a day.
Yeah.
That people are now like taking a break, looking back over the 3 years and see incredible progress.
It's hard, it's impossible not to. If in an honest moment, even the most cynical of fans has to acknowledge what the 3-year rebuild has been. It has, I think, because people are so sick of hearing what the rebuild has been that they almost dismiss that it happened. Well, no, you could be sick of hearing about it, but it was a 303 to 22 jump from the net rankings. Net rankings, we don't even know what those mean anymore.
Right.
But the reality is UNM is back into the mix where they're trying to keep players that really good programs are wanting to get. They're trying to keep a coach that really good programs are trying to get. They're in the NCAA tournament, and they're being talked about nationally. That's what you wanted as a Lobo fan. That's where you are right now.
Right. And I honestly believe I know every roster. I know every roster in the Mountain West. I'm dying to see what happens in Logan. That's just incredible. San Diego State's going to have a huge turnover, but they will reload. If we're successful with the retention, I think the Lobos will have the best lineup in the Mountain West starting the season. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily success on the court.
Well, let me interject real quick. I think they had probably the most talent this year. I think that it didn't fit together very well. That doesn't mean there was bad chemistry, but I think when you have the 3 short guards, it's hard to make. You might have had the most talent, but I don't think 3 short guards playing together made it necessarily the best team and the best roster overall.
Yeah, great point. Well, you saw it. 4 straight games in Vegas. Bang, bang, bang. And there's Dutcher, who I respect greatly, saying, well, House is a guy who's his body type lends it to success in that. And then Max Rice, who said they're the best. He said they have the highest ceiling. So we saw it. We had great 4 days out there. Just an incredible, successful run. Again, I was really impressed. The Lobo Nation traveled really well, considering the lack of recent success.
I won't say it was what it was a decade ago, but man, it was getting back. It was as close as it's been in a decade. It was impressive.
And just like the season tickets will be next year, hey, Lobo fans, if you don't have a season ticket, you better pay attention. It's going to be hard to get. And the travel to Vegas will be off the charts next year.
A lot of state flags.
What's that? State? I love that.
Whoever wants to make some money next year, go stand in the Thomas and Mack parking lot and sell some state flags.
Yeah, I think that's just incredible. People all over the country were calling me. That was great. That was great. And we're going to mention a couple of seconds. We're going to take a break, but I want to mention your buddy out there on the San Diego beat, Mark Ziegler, taking shots at us again yesterday. Everybody hang out. We've got one segment left. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So...
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
Wide. Hey everybody, welcome back to the final segment of the 505 Sports Venture program. Special guest Jeff Grammer. We've only got about 5 or 6 minutes left, and we could probably talk for hours. When we took a break, I threw a little punch, a jab at Mark Ziegler, the beat writer for the San Diego State Aztecs, who actually tweeted out a retweet of something where Richard Pitino is known to want to leave Albuquerque. He just takes a shot at New Mexico whenever he can.
I do think he absolutely does. He's taken shots at the Mountain West Conference in general through the years, and that's fine. I mean, it's his opinion and all that stuff. But the target of New Mexico has sort of been on his radar for the past 2 years now, and it coincided about a year ago when they were targeting some of the same players that had UNM connections, be it Josiah Alec, who left UNM, or Nelly Jr. Joseph, who they were trying very hard to get and ended up at UNM. And a lot of the public comments about UNM and what you guys are doing at 505 started coming about that time. Yeah, he loves to take shots at us. He also talks about how much money we have and how big our budget is. I'm going to tell him that our big budget's twice what he thinks it is, even if it's not. And you mentioned Josiah Alec. For all those Lobo fans out there who really missed him or loved him while he was here, we had a group in Memphis out to dinner on the night before the game. Josiah happened to be in the restaurant, came in, took some selfies, said hi to everyone. They got destroyed in the first round, but he had a great year. For whatever reason he left, I necessarily don't agree with him leaving, but he had a great career. He was a great kid. And for what it's worth, I talked with him, interviewed him while I was out there, and he said, had things worked out differently, I would have loved to stay at UNM. It wasn't I'm leaving UNM as much as it was I'm going to Nebraska and back home in his mind. At least that's what he told me. And he had no problems he was the guy signing the autographs. He had no problems with certainly what he could have made had he stayed. So
yeah, great kid. His family's from Nebraska. His sister was a star. They went to the national championship volleyball game.
Yep.
So it was a real family thing. Great to see Josiah. All right. So now, what happens? We hold on to the transfer portal.
Yep.
I will tell fans who are interested, yet another reason, shameless plug. I'm here to ask for your help. UNM is going to be active in the transfer portal, not only retaining, and we are going to fight like you know what to retain, but now that we're an NCAA team, we've got established some tradition. UNM is a destination for transfer portal kids. They are calling UNM.
yeah, and I think that there will be some names that'll be on this roster next year that probably will be familiar names that I think people that paid attention this year probably know some of these guys. There will be some names that you guys have probably never heard of that these coaches know what they're doing, though. They know who did good at Southeast Missouri, State, whatever, and they'll find them. And I do think that you're right in what I hear is New Mexico isn't going to miss on a guy because they aren't in position to get them. And New Mexico has positioned themselves well in this market.
No doubt about it. And we're not just talking dollars and cents.
Right.
We're talking stability in the program, great public recognition. We are really hoping with the Mountain West tournament, NCAA tournament, that now the national press can differentiate between New Mexico and the Aggies. We hope that happens.
We'll see. I will say this, too. Another piece to all this that reflects really well on the program. Jalen House spent 3 years and didn't have to and got so much national attention because of the Mountain West tournament. That reflected well that he's leaving and putting a New Mexico flag on his back when he's cutting down the nets. He loved his time here. Jamal Mashburn Jr., while in the transfer portal, spent 3 years here, has nothing bad to say about the place. Nobody's on their way out and just saying, I don't want to talk about it. Anybody who is leaving is making sure they talk about how much fun they had, what a good program this was. It's a good time right now, PR-wise. I guess what's the Q rating or whatever people call the...
Right.
I think Lobo basketball is in a good spot right now, perception-wise.
Lobo basketball is in a great spot. Lobo football is going to be in a great spot very shortly. So, all right, we hang on. Watch the transfer portal. Another benefit of success, Journal can sell papers.
Yeah.
There's Lobo news at least for another month, if not longer. Before you know it, I'm pretty sure the 2 freshmen show up in June.
Yeah.
We'll probably have a couple of the underclassmen, the Applehans and Q will be in here in June. Things will be cooking again before you know it. We'll be talking schedule. I
guess we'll have to find out if Nelly gets to go home to Nigeria this summer or not.
I've been told, I asked Nelly that question. I said, you're not going home. And then I talked to Nelly answered, and one of his advisors, in essence his guardian, said, no, we have a 2-year visa.
Okay.
So he will go home. He wants to see his family.
He's already got the
paperwork. But he's got the paperwork. He
He
walks around with it. I'm telling you, everyone will be waiting. They may send one of the managers with them to drive them around. But Nelly will be working for the most part here. I think we'll see most of the guys working in the weight room. And I am optimistic that we're going to retain these guys. So, Jeff, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
We may have you on in the next couple of weeks. Who knows
we'll
what
see.
development we have. Excuse me. Once again, as we wrap it up, we need your help, guys and gals. We need your help. We are rolling. We went into the tournament. We've got a great, great young nucleus of young student athletes. We need the support. We need to make this a thing. 505svf.org. 505sports.org. We need to make it a community-based organization that supports UNM. It's that simple. We're in a great spot. Keep it going. Let's go, New Mexico. Anyway, I want to say thanks to Jeff. Thanks for you for watching. We'll be back next week with another episode of the 505 Sports Venture Foundation program. Thank you. Boom.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Like and show that you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.